I would say started alone, but that would be a lie. Started with one purpose, to keep Blue alive. But yeah, I know we can respawn. We always can. Never mattered to me. But, she made that difficult. But it was still my goal. Didn't last long. Goals rarely do. Still, we had a home. Or, well, her home. I just lived in the walls. For a while, it was just her and me. You know how it goes. You join a world without expectations. You assume it'll be temporary. You assume nothing meaningful will take root. That could just be me, though. I was wrong. Watched people come and go. Names passed through the chat. Crossed paths here and there with some people, but never really talked. Same faces, appear again and again. Didn't think anything of it. Though I started noticing one more than others. One name. The name was Empher. I couldn't put a finger on why, but, just saw it more often. Eventually I built a place of my own, because I couldn't keep living in the walls. Not long after, I found a chest waiting for me, with a banner resting on top. Inside the chest was a book. The book was called An Alliance. It spoke of a banner. It spoke of a banner I had supposedly seen before. Well, news, I hadn't. Spoke of a group called WET, an alliance between Empher, Afterjam, and Dark General. Their goal was to share resources, farms, all stuff like that, builds that, were in the warm biomes. And it ended with, if I'm interested, send a message. I was scared, truthfully. I'm not good with interactions. I didn't know what to do with it. And I would have felt bad if I had just ignored it. But it also felt dangerous to answer. I let it sit, thought about it for a few days. The chest stayed. It stayed put. Though eventually I mustered up and I replied. And that was the best decision I could have made. From there, everything became what it is now. History at this point, I suppose. Just a strange little group who like Minecraft. A few loners, a few not so lonely. People who didn't start together, but we stayed. We made it a home. I used to think there wouldn't be an end. That this world would just continue. I didn't get anything that otherwise it wouldn't. That, just exist here. In a moment where I don't have to look forward or back. It's like living in a dream. Dreams where staying in the present is enough. I'm happy, and that happiness didn't demand anything from me. But even if that's what one wants, that doesn't mean that's what'll happen. Sometimes things are changed or planned without asking, and this time it did. The world we loved, the one we lived in, bled into, built block by block, it's going to be gone. Not destroyed, just reset. Probably not remembered properly, just kind of erased in a way. Returned to the unknown. And unknown terrifies me, I'm still struggling with that thought because it still exists right now. I can walk around, I can touch, I can build, but it's already kind of dead. Soon there'd just be no proof of what was there. No walls that I'd like to hide. No, seeing the people we used to. The only places that mattered because we stood there together. Now it's just reduced to potential, you know? People say that resets are chances, they're fresh starts, new beginnings. I don't see it that way. Well, I do, but I see it as a loss of what once was, what could be, and the quiet cruelty of knowing it will never exist again. It hurts, because Wet, to me, isn't just a group. It was a convergence of people who, honestly, I don't think we were meant to find each other, but we somehow did. We didn't plan for what we have. We just played. We built. We had fun. We just did what we did. And now all I can say is goodbye, goodbye to a world that never said goodbye back. So, I guess this is it. Not an ending I wanted, not one I was ready for, but one I have to acknowledge. Remember what we made, remember that it mattered, even if the world forgets, or even if I forget. The memories, I hope, still stay. I hope that those other members that are like a found family, it stays with them too.